Hey there guys, and welcome to episode 2 of our Aston Villa career mode on FIFA 14. It is Niran here, and I'm delighted to tell you that episode 2 is here. Of course, in the first episode we went through our first two friendlies of the season. One we played and the other we simmed, because we're in the middle of some talks. And of course the main problem, or the main thing that we had to sort out in the first episode was which wingers I was going to... I can't get my grammar out. I just can't get my grammar going. I just can't. But anyway, here, as you can see, Izet Hadžović was one of the options. I decided to bid 4.3 million in the end for the Grasshopper Zurich right midfielder. He's 22 years of age. The other options, of course, were Zakaria Bakali of PSV, his PSV teammate Memphis Depay, and Bruma of Sporting Lisbon. We'll go into that in some more depth later, but now it is time for the third and final friendly of the friendly period, and against Espanyol. Here, we are against Espanyol. I forgot the we are bit. But anyway, yeah, I was just sorting out my team. I'm going to go for a little bit of youth on the bench. We're going to give Van Ginkel his, I think, his first start. Yeah, his first game here. And, yeah, it was an interesting game, actually, this one, as the players just warm up now. Yeah, Van Ginkel, this was his first start since joining from Chelsea, I do believe. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he played the first friendly. I don't think I'd signed him by then. But here we are at Villa Park for the third and final friendly. And it was actually us who came up with the first chance of the game. Just a few minutes in, Fabian Delph down the left-hand side, forcing the save from the Espanyol keeper. And it was cleared away to safety there. But then Benteke bursting through past Hector Moreno, or someone Moreno, and again forcing a great save from the Espanyol keeper. Moments later, Gabriel Bonglahor on the 20th minute with a long-range strike. I did think for a moment that was in, but it was wide in the end. And Divi, the French striker, just meandering forward. And Brad Guzan doing enough in the end with a combination of defenders to keep him out. Andy Weimann there with a shot after some good play, some good team play there, but the shot was blocked. Van Ginkel then playing in Andy Weimann, and somehow that went in. I have no idea. On the 49th minute, just 4 minutes after half-time, Andy Weimann gives us the lead with one heck of a P-roller. The Espanyol goalkeeper had been in absolutely fantastic form, like making some brilliant saves earlier on in the half, but he was just susceptible to the P-roller, and it ended up trickling into the bottom right corner with the assist from Marco Van Ginkel on his debut. Then about 2 minutes later, literally, Fabian Delph feeds in Benteke, but a great save there from the Espanyol keeper to redeem himself. I don't know what his name is, actually. I will check now, but Fabian Delph there, set through again after a great ball from Benteke. He eludes the challenge of Moreno and puts in a pretty decent ball into the box. Benteke with the header, but again, a great save. And the double save there, I think, from Weimann's chip effort in the end. But in the end, it was 1-0. We could have won by more in the end. It could have been a bit of a thrashing. Andy Weimann was the man who got man of the match. Benteke and Fabian Delph also getting good ratings, along with Joris Okore and Matthew Lowton in defence. So after the game, I actually found out how my transfers had gone and whether they had been accepted or rejected. Now, Memphis Depay, the offer for him was accepted along with Bruma, but Bakali's was rejected by PSV Eindhoven. I also received an offer from Fulham for Karim Al-Ahmadi, who I decided to accept that offer for. He wasn't really in my plan. Zakaria Bakali, PSV wanted 7 million. I decided to bow down to their demands because, in my opinion, that is a bit of a bargain. I then got word back from Grasshopper Zurich about Izet Hadžović. They wanted 4.9 million. I only bidded 4.3 for him. And after a bit of deliberation, I decided to sort of go halfway there and sort of meet their demands. But at this point, he was sort of one of the ones I wasn't thinking about buying. But he was still in the running, the right midfielder. I think he's Swiss. No, Bosnian winger. So, after that, I decided to put another instruction even into my scouting system. Now, I decided actually I'm going to look for a very young striker, young promising striker between the age of 16 and 18. Contract length didn't matter in this case. But yeah, I've been signing a lot of players who I'm going to have in my team for now, but I haven't really been looking towards the future a huge amount in terms of young players who I can develop. I did, in the end, after a bit of deliberation, decide to go for the striker option instead of winger, a winger even, or a defender, and yep, I kept those changes, and that, alongside the other instructions I had of a central midfielder who was a playmaker, and a fullback with defensive-minded mentality. Now, this was the decision I had, and it went something a little bit like this. Alright, so realistically I could get Bruma or Depay. Bruma? Yeah, but look at... Okay, so... oh man, look at those stats. Look at those stats, though. Depay, 4-star skill moves. Oh my day, but then I could get Bruma for less. I could get Bruma for less for 2.6, or I could get this guy for 3. But, I mean, look at those stats as well, they're like the same. Oh man. Oh, but then I like Depay. Depay's good. And then there's Hadrovic. Then there's Hadrovic as well, but he's more. And then, but they want more for him. I don't know. But what I do know is Bosnia sounds cool. And this is without even considering the possibility of Bakali. I mean, he's better than all of them. But then he's 7 million, and then I don't want it. Oh, but then, oh my day. So yeah, this continued for some time. You can see the problem here before I eventually decided on at first Zakaria Bakali, the right winger from PSV Eindhoven, 17 years old. There was only 2 years left on his contract, and he only wanted 20,000 in wages. I decided to put a squad role of important first team player. And then I decided, instead of Memphis Depay, to go for Bruma of Sporting Lisbon. At the end of the day, they're pretty much the same player. They're pretty much the same stat. Bruma, I think, is younger and, in the end, cheaper. So it was really a no-brainer in the end when I thought about it for some time. And then I did actually look at Memphis Depay in the end as well. And his wages were a lot more than Bruma and Zakaria Bakali in the first place. So yeah, I decided to go for Bruma and Bakali. We'll see how that develops later on. But then I got a scout report back suggesting I should buy Nathaniel Klein, the right-back of Southampton. So I ended up going out first for 4 million plus Alan Hutton as the player, then decided actually, although he's the same position, I could pay less and put in someone who equally won't play, who's worth more. And in the end I chose Stephen Ireland and went for 2 million instead, plus the Irishman, who is, yes, a very good player, but not going to feature in my plans after the signing of Marco van Ginkel on loan from Chelsea. Now, I also went for another right-back just to make sure, and it was Dennis Diekmeyer, who I, in the end, decided to go for a straight swap of nothing but for Stephen Ireland as well. Now, I got some pretty disappointing news in the end back from my inbox, saying that Nathaniel Klein's offer, well, my offer for Nathaniel Klein was rejected because they wanted 2.4 million as well as Stephen Ireland. I, in the end, decided to bow down to that, but had a bit of financial trouble in the end, having to deal with budget allocations later on. But I did get that deal. Well, financially, it could be possible, but we'll see whether it was done in the end. But Zakaria Bakali was one deal that was done, and a second deal that was most definitely done was Bruma. So those two wingers, of a total of £9.6 million, will be joining us momentarily. So their first game of the season would be the first game of the season in the Premier League against Arsenal, because of course we have the real fixture list from real life. But Nathaniel Klein, the offer was accepted in the end because I met their demands. I then put a 30 offered wage a week bid, well, contract offer in for him. I got my words a little bit mixed up there. But anyway, yeah. So, obviously I had Bakali and Bruma at my disposal for the first game of the season. Nathaniel Klein hadn't quite signed for me, so I couldn't have him in my team, obviously, because we're still playing Southampton, but that's by the by. So yeah, I was just sorting out my team, whether to play Bruma or Bakali. I, in the end, decided to play Bruma with Bakali on the bench, Van Ginkel and Zogbia and Delph in central midfield, with Weimann, Bruma and Benteke up front. An unchanged defence was in order as well. That was Lowton, Vla, Akore to provide a bit of pace, and Antonio Luna. So, we were at the Emirates Stadium. Of course, in real life, this fixture, we used a different kit, but it ended 3-1, and we had a great start, much like in real life. Christian Benteke bursting through after just completely dispossessing, I think it was Thomas Vermaelen in the end. Some shocking Arsenal defending, which they are sort of known for a little bit, but they've got better in real life. Obviously, they're top of the table at this point, but that was terrible defending from Vermaelen, and it led to a 1-0 lead for us. But just 3 minutes later, Theo Walcott was put in to make it 1-1 in the 9th minute. I don't know why he was doing that celebration. He's never really played for Aston Villa. But it was a great ball nonetheless. One of my defenders went forward because he thought he was going to go to the other striker, who I think was at the time Edin Dzeko, who was for some reason signed for Arsenal in this game. But it didn't. It went all the way through for Walcott, and that was a great finish past Brad Guzan to make it 1-1. And it was one heck of a start to the game. Benteke was then played through by Fabian Delph. The shot was blocked. And then it was Nzogbia who played it in. He then had a chance to shoot as well, but it was a great double save in the end from Wojciech Szczesny. Then Bruma played through Benteke. He cut inside, past Vermaelen, who was having a mare of a day, and put it in the 24th minute to make it 2-1 with the classy Spanish Archer celebration. Bruma then with his first assist for Aston Villa, and only 24 minutes in making a bit of an impression in this game. So that was 2-1. The first half was very entertaining. The first 25 minutes was great. And then a little bit later on, Santi Cazorla there with the long-range strike on the half an hour mark. Into the second half then, and this was mainly the only highlight. Zachariah Backley coming on. Then in the 86th minute, yes, the 86th minute, that's how long it took to get another highlight. Edin Dzeko there with a very long-range strike. Brad Guzan, easy enough, very comfortable. But then, right at the end, Theo Walcott putting the ball in towards Dzeko, was headed away. Wilshere gets there, and Zogbia with a terrible challenge. And how Wilshere missed that? How Wilshere missed that with two players scrambling on the floor in front of Guzan, meaning it was impossible for him to move. He put it wide. I don't know how. Maybe that's just a difficulty. Maybe I need to put it up. But in the end, it was a 2-1 victory, much like in real life, although it was 3-1. But still, it was still a victory nonetheless. So I'm not going to put the difficulty up quite yet. We'll see what it's like going into the Chelsea game. And if I win that, then yes, the difficulty will be going up. Because everyone knows Chelsea is just that team that you don't beat with a smaller team. But that is about it. As you see the ratings here, Christian Benteke getting man of the match, along with Nzogbia getting a good rating as well. It has been a pleasure ranting you today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Career Mode. Episode 3 will hopefully be up in about 4 or 5 days. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Comment if you enjoyed it that much or if you didn't. By all means, voice your opinions and say what you want me to change about the series, if anything at all. So, I hope you have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye. Hey there guys, and welcome. It is Niran here, and today I am going to be doing some Career Mode.